Men. What was your worst date? Mine was a girl that I took to a seafood dinner, decided to get a to-go order for her cousin and son, then add the cost to my bill. Her to-go order for them was shrimp and lobster. When I got the bill, I paid for my dinner plus tip and left her the bill to pay the rest. Never talking to her again. Quick and easy reply. 18 years old me 21 years ago goes on a date to pub with crush from school. UK. Hour into date she asks to borrow 20 undefined. Hurts. This one girl kept giving me strikes. I'd say or do something and she'd go strike one. Strike two. Like that. So I said, well, hang on, how many strikes do I get? She goes 3 like in baseball. I go, how many do I have now? You're up to 2, so be careful. Oh, okay. And I got up and walked away. I had a girl do the same thing to me back in high school with pretty much the same ending. It's 30 years later and now I'm wondering if some poor bastard married her and is still putting up with that strike bull's peep. More likely she eventually learned not to treat people that badly. At least I really hope so. I definitely went ice skating with my crush. And I fell and broke both my tibia and my fibula and had to have emergency surgery. L. Worst date to have with a crush you have liked for about 3 years. And what happened later? Did you guys had another date? No, but this happened about a month ago, so I'm still healing, but I'm planning on asking her again to go ice skating and tell her to finish what we started. Undefined. Asking her again to go ice skating and tell her to finish what we started. Confused face, ominous. Maybe use different words. Showed up to a date. First question she asks. Oh. How did you get here? Me. I rode my bike. Her. Ugh, I hate cyclists. Whenever I see them I want to run them over in my car. 2 minutes later. Her. So where are you from? Me. I grew up in Canada. Her. I been to Montreal. Me. Oh cool. Me too. I really like it. What did you think? Her. I hated it. I thought it was dirty and the French people are really rude. 2 minutes later. Talking about work. Me. I was in consulting. Her. Ugh, me too. I hated it. I didn't like a single consultant I met. We left after 30 minutes and never talked to each other again. Would be a great skit, lol. Would be funny if those 2 minutes later sequences were literally just them looking around and not talking at all. It was at a coffee shop in a library. She showed up and the very first thing she did was remove her shoes and put them on the table. Later she mentioned how she was obsessed with victims of serial killers and had them tattooed on her body. Jesus. You dodged a bullet. What a psycho. Who puts their shoes on the table? My ex-husband, as it turned out. Always live with someone before you get married. Halfway through dinner at Denny's, her choice. Not mine. On my birthday. She told me she liked the gay guy on the water polo team. And left me with the bill. Undefined. Goddamn bro. At least it was a cheap meal. I think mine was a simple one. I wasn't exactly in the right place in life at that time. But I had this crush on a girl. The date came. And I believe it was a movie or a dinner. Anyways. She brought along a friend. Even though I was a naive kid at the time. Even I could recognize that it was no longer a serious date. But a go-away date. Yeah. If memory serves me. There were no further dates. Oof. Pro tip to people: if you don't want to date someone, don't say yes. My date used 2-hour street parking when we went to see Interstellar. We had to leave about 20 minutes before the end of the movie to get to her car in time. I still haven't seen the end. LMAO. This is brutal. 20 minutes before end of movie. Her. We gotta go. Car parking is up. Him. Don't make me leave, Merv. Went on 3 dates. Nice dinner, met her mom and all that. During the 3rd date she got a call in the middle of dinner. Finished the call and said, sorry, that's my boyfriend, this is the only time he gets to call from basic, and then she couldn't wrap her head around why I thought that was beeped up. Her reasoning was he was in another state so she can do whatever she wants. This could probably be a copy pasta for military members from the opposite perspective at this point. Sad man. I asked a girl out on a date in college. When she showed up she brought another guy with her. When I was in college, a girl I knew asked us, her gal friends, if we wanted to see a movie together. Once we arrived at the theater, we saw a very confused guy, who was also a part of our larger friend group, standing next to her. After we got our tickets, she grabbed his hand and said they were sitting together. And I blurted out, are you guys on a date? In my defense, I was. And am. An idiot. After the movie, we were all still confused and unsure how the rest of the night should play out. Someone suggested coffee. But the girl grabbed her date's hand, giggled, and said they were taking off. The next day I heard she asked if she could see his dorm. When they got to his floor, on his way to his room, she marched into the common area and sat on one of the couches. He followed, sat down next to her, and she got up and sat in another couch opposite him. She then proceeded to spend the next 3 hours asking him questions about his childhood and family before abruptly standing up and saying she had to go back to her room. She was tired. No, don't walk her back. The next morning she called up one of her girlfriends and complained he didn't make any moves on her. Zero romantic vibes is how she described it. He called me up and said he spent the entire evening in a state of confusion. I am female and I am also confused about what exactly she wanted or expected to happen. This poor dude seems to be in a losing situation. I imagine him anticipating her showing up alone to their date. Then the surprise when she brought back up. Then her opening up the opportunity for him to think he's gonna get laid only to dart off to another room and play keep away until she does home. If I followed you correctly, it seems like she was wanting him to essentially rape her. How else is he supposed to be romantically engaged or whatever? If I sit beside you and you move away, what am I supposed to think? Even more so if 2 minutes ago you wanted to see my room. What changed? I mean, you're allowed to change your mind anytime, of course. But at least be open about it. My wife does this thing where I'll do or say something silly or dumb and she will say, I didn't want to have sex with you before. But now, after hearing that thunderous belch, I'm all hot and bothered. I know she's joking. But only after 10 years together, lol. First and only date. At a restaurant, and within the first 5 minutes she's telling me just how much she loves cocaine and about all the times she's been so drunk that she peed all over the backseat of cabs. Most recent time the week before. She's pounding shots as this is happening and I'm struggling to remember if I brought cash so I can quickly pay my bill and disappear. 2009 was seeing a girl for a couple weeks and took her across the state to see Keith Urban and Taylor Swift. Paid for tickets and paid for everything. We get to I Wanna Kiss a Girl in Keith's set and she says, I wish I found you attractive so I could kiss you. So then we had to finish the show and had a 2.5-hour drive back home. Tanya. You bitch. RIP.